This is FE Peer Review. The date is the 4th of November 2022. Gravity is what it is, and we describe it as best we can. Quite a while back, Professor Dave made a very entertaining video debunking flat earthers, which was a hugely popular video. Got an incredible number of views. Well, Flatzoid decided that would be the perfect video to piggyback on and make one of his own based on that, in response to Professor Dave. And then what do you suppose but Simon Dan saw Flatzoid's video, and Flatzoid became the subject of today's Flat Earth Friday video from Simon Dan. Thank you very much, Dan, for an excellent video. I enjoyed it very much. There is a link to it in the description. I left a couple of comments, and this video is based on those comments. I'll start with the first comment, which was a small one. Flatzoid's on a huge push to build up his channel. He sees a window of opportunity as other FE channels collapse in on themselves like dying stars. It makes total sense that he'd try to piggyback on Professor Dave's celebrity. That's a common tactic for people with no positive ethics. It also makes sense that he'd end up with egg on his face. That's the usual result of his efforts. I'll be curious to see how Simon Dan prepares this egg before launching it expertly at the visage in question. I wrote that comment at the start of Dan's video, so I got to find out how he prepared the egg, and it was a joy to watch it launch. Now on to the meat of the matter. I'm going to start by playing a bit from Dan's video to put this in context. It's this discussion of gravity, buoyancy, etc.
How can I put this to you? Gravity doesn't exist, not Professor Dave.
Point proven.
The flat plane comes first and then the globe. So don't come and say, we say if you take the globe and flatten it out, then gravity has problems. No, 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 no. This is a globe strawman argument. Nothing to do with flat earth, by the way.
Well, it is, because without gravity, how do flat earthers explain how things fall? It has everything to do with you, Flatzoid.
Objects accelerate towards the ground at 9.8 meters per second squared. That's an indisputable fact.
Yes, and it's indisputable fact that we can prove its relative density disequilibrium.
Oh my days, not this rubbish again. Flatzoid, you cannot prove that. You just can't.
Okay, I want to focus on just one thing here, and I'll start with my comment. All these people who keep repeating gravity is not a force are misquoting. Go back about 2 years when they all first started parroting this. They used a quote from Wikipedia, which I've got shown below, and I've highlighted the quote. Gravity is most accurately described by the general theory of relativity proposed by Albert Einstein in 1915, which describes gravity not as a force, but as the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass and causing masses to move along geodesic lines. Grammar matters. This quote does not say that gravity is not a force. It says that Einstein described it, quote, not as a force, but as etc. This does not mean that gravity is not a force. It means that Einstein described it differently. I like to give these examples. The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco is one of the engineering marvels of the world, but if I chose to, I could describe it not as an engineering marvel, but as one of the most important tourist sites on the west coast of the USA. In doing so, it is not suddenly ceasing to be an engineering marvel, nor am I saying it is not an engineering marvel. I am simply describing it not as an engineering marvel, but rather as an important tourist attraction. Another example. I could describe Rachie 00000 not as a flat earther, but rather as a mother. In doing so, she doesn't suddenly cease to be a flat earther, unfortunately. She remains both a mother and a flat earther. Within Newtonian physics, gravity is indeed a force. It causes masses to accelerate. Einstein simply describes it differently. Lest we forget, the title of this video is Gravity is What It Is, and we describe it as best we can. On the 13th of October, NASA produced an article describing their plans for the space probe Lucy, and that it was going to do a, quote, gravity assist trajectory around Earth to speed it up and send it off into another direction. The article is linked in the description. It says Lucy launched on October 16th, 2021. On October 16th, 2022, 3 days after this article is to come out, Lucy will fly by Earth like a partner in a swing dance, boosting its speed and elongating its orbit around the sun. This maneuver is called a gravity assist, and they also produced a little video clip showing what their plan was for this gravity assist. Here's that clip. Three days later, exactly as planned, down to the minute, it completed its flyby and along the way snapped this lovely photo of Earth, which I put up on a video a few days ago. A beautiful one-shot image, not a mosaic collage assembled in Photoshop, just a single snapshot of Earth as Lucy flew past. She was actually flying lower than the ISS at one point. So I have a little challenge for Flatzoid and others who promote the buoyancy thing. Show us your math for how you would launch and navigate a space probe like Lucy and do what NASA describes as a gravity assist. I'd like to see your math using your buoyancy and density equations to show how that is accomplished successfully, such that NASA could take your equations, launch a space probe, and have the project be a success. Be thrilled to see that. If you can do that, you can demonstrate that you're able to do the same thing that all these great rocket scientists are accomplishing, all those great engineers, all these people that are working so hard, that spent their lifetimes building up to doing projects like this. You will have shown that you're in their league. So there's a challenge for you. Love to see what you come up with. When you've got something, put out a video, let's talk about it. It would be great to see. I'm in the process of editing the video, and I realize that I have to add something here, unfortunately. I know that any flat earther that does come across this is just going to say, well, NASA is all a bunch of lies and space is fake and all of this kind of stupid stuff. It's weak-minded conspiracy thinking that they engage in simply because they can't face reality. And it's really wrong. And I'm not going to go into it, except that I did make a video on the subject a couple years ago, and I'll put a link to it. This is the title of that video, in which I lay out the real problems with that kind of mindset. I'm not even going to bother addressing the blatant, obvious fact that they have never once managed to prove anything to support their nonsense about these conspiracies. I'll just say, if you're a flat earther, I don't want to hear it until you've gone and watched this video, and even then I don't want to hear it because I don't care what you have to say on that subject. My mind's closed to that. You come to me with good arguments about science and I'll listen. You come to me with a bunch of conspiracy BS and I will not be there. All right, enough of this. Now back to what we were looking at before. Now you all have a wonderful day. And remember, there's a like button down there. You know what to do with it. And subscribe if you haven't already. Bye-bye.